Hey everyone, Jon Ritzheimer here, the Malheur National Refuge. Taking a few minutes here to dispel a lot of the rumors and the rhetoric going on out there in the social media world. You're hearing it from me. As far as who's an FBI informant and FBI provocateurs and all this gibberish. I want to start with Louis Arthur, Veterans on Patrol. Louis Arthur, I met this man a few times at some patriotic events in Arizona, and it became very clear to me that this is a mentally unstable person. Somehow or another, this man got my phone number at one point in time, and I received a phone call from him once at 11 o'clock at night, and freaking out like, John, you need to come down to Tucson. They're supposed to be building a Walmart, but it's not going to be a Walmart. They're going to be towers here. These are observation towers, and they're going to put us in these prison camps. And woke me from my sleep, and I was like, who is this? And he's like, is this Jon Ritzheimer? I said, yes. Well, this is Louis Arthur. You got to get down here and help me, man. We got to destroy their construction site. We got to put a stop to this. And I said, Louis, I'm going to go back to bed now. Please don't ever call me again. And I hadn't heard from him. Then he pops up doing Veterans on Patrol. And I start seeing some good things come from it. Louis Arthur is not a veteran. I went down there to go see what was going on with Veterans on Patrol. When I went down there, and this is not saying when any other person was down there, but when I went down there, I was the only veteran there. Good things were happening. They were getting homeless veterans off the street. I had heard of 3 that were turned over to the VA. They were passing out water. They were doing good things. I still questioned Louis's motives when he started this, knowing his mental illness or if he's on drugs or what. I don't know if he's schizophrenic and needs medication or what. But good things were happening. However, he was riding the coattails in the name of veterans. It would be better said civilians out patrolling, gathering homeless people and bringing them together and providing them shelter and chow and everything. Again, it's great. It's good. It was a noble thing. But I'm questioning whether or not this Louis Arthur is perhaps a homeless person and has found a way to develop this guise using the name veteran for Veterans on Patrol to get people to sympathize with him and donate to them so that he can have shelters and food and everything brought to him. And he doesn't have to. So again, people, if you just think you know Louis Arthur from social media, you do not know Louis Arthur. Also, any individual that was at the Bundy Ranch can tell you about what this man had done at the Bundy Ranch standoff. Things as far as taking chalk, going around reporters and chalking on the ground all around them and saying, this is so my snipers don't take you out. Again, this man needs help. He came here trying to get his 2 seconds of fame on the camera. And if anybody, people listen to his stories. It started out when he was leaving Phoenix that he needed to come up and rescue a Marine with PTSD who was it was a Marine that they were worried about. By the time he got here, it turned into he was here to rescue Ryan Payne. And then by the time he was down and infiltrated into the camp and trying to leave, it turned into he was trying to rescue the women. So please just have some common sense and see through this man. Know that what he came here to do was to get a few seconds of fame, and I don't know what beyond that. But I will tell you this. When he did get here, I was not up on the post. Up on post was a man who is a Vietnam veteran who lives in Shiloh, Arizona, who goes by the name Wolf, and he's an honorable Marine, former Marine. And as soon as Louis Arthur came up and the man was like, whoa, who are you? Louis Arthur immediately blasted and plowed into this Vietnam veteran, knocking his hand back into the mirror of his truck that he was using to help set up for guard up there, smashing the mirror and busting his hand open and actually drawing blood. They then proceeded to go down into the camp, storming and marching and yelling. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to feed you a BS story beyond that, because I did not witness anything beyond that. What happened down in there, as far as all these claims of he was attacked and assaulted by individuals, no, it did not happen. And when I saw them leaving, allegedly there's a man, I guess I heard, that was with him that has a black eye now. I will tell you, and I'm giving you my absolute word, when they left here, that man did not have a black eye. And go and watch Pete Santilli. Pete Santilli was right there, had it all recorded on what was going on outside the gate. They came here and they started problems. People worried about me, trying to call certain people, individuals here, FBI informants and provocateurs, and it needs to stop. If you're not here, you don't know. And I am still learning daily about what we're actually doing here. I am a city boy. I don't know much about the ranching life. But I do know now, after doing my research, that according to the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, it outlines very clearly where the federal government is allowed to own land. And this is not allowed. They get DC. They get forts. They get magazines. They get bases, docks. They are not allowed to come out and just start sucking up this land and putting these ranchers and their livelihoods, just eating it up, forcing them into cities. These people are salt of the earth, and they know how to manage this land. We do not need this three-letter agency out there oppressing these people, telling them you're going to do this or else we're going to revoke your permit. They want to revoke all of their grazing rights, mining rights, watering rights. They want to revoke it because they're trying to get the land, people. And if you would just take the time to read the Constitution and see that that's what we are falling back on, you would know we are 100% in the right here. And the beauty of all of this is we have not broken any laws. There is not one no trespassing sign here. This is public land. All of this equipment and all this stuff here, it was all paid for and purchased by the money from those grazing rights. And that money should stay here in Harney County. It should stay here in Oregon. It does not need to go out to a federal entity and have another three-letter agency coming out to oppress them. And then when they mess up, they have nobody to answer to. Zero justice will be served. They are oppressing these rancher people. It's happening all across the U.S. You get these college kids, okay, that are born and raised in the city, never had a grain of dirt underneath their fingernail. They go and get a college education. Then they get a job with the BLM. And they're going to sit here and tell these people who have been living in harmony with our country and with Earth since the founding of our country 200 plus years ago, they're going to come here and tell them how to manage the land? It's not right. And we need to stand up and do what's right and follow that through till the end. That's what this comes down to. What is right and what is wrong. I understand that we're having spotlight brought into us. All these ranchers, they didn't have a voice, and we have given them a voice. But we need to make sure that they're going to be heard and that nobody will mess with them again. That they will not have to live under tyranny. This is tyranny happening in our country. And we need to take a stand. They've petitioned. They've filed redress of grievances. All ignored. When all is ignored, what other options do they have? We do not want war. I want to go home to my family more than anything. I am so burnt out here. I miss the holidays with them. We want this to have a peaceful resolve. But we don't need to rush the process. They need to get out of here. We're not hurting anything. Everybody's still alive. We've threatened no one. Let's let this end peacefully. But let's engage in a civil debate, and let's do what's right is right, and let's stand by that. We cannot continue to allow them to sweep this under the rug and then get back to the status quo. So please stand with us here in Oregon. If you're able to come out here and stand with us, that's That's mainly what we need out here. These people need a voice. And the ball needs to get put back into their court. Yes, the sheriff came here and asked us to leave. That is not the consensus of the town. Because we, as a lot of you may or may not see, the media not putting it out there, we constantly have ranchers coming here and donating to us, thanking us, dropping off firewood, food, heaters, propane tanks, everything. Generators. Anything we need to sustain us to be able to maintain this until their voice is heard. When they listen to the redress of grievances, then maybe we can go home to our families. So please, take the time, get properly educated, stop focusing on any one individual in here. This is not about me or my background or my past. This is not about Blaine Cooper or his background or his past. Ryan Payne, the Bundys. I know I am here doing what's right. I'm following my heart. And I know that there are individuals that have been there and stood with me when we thought certain death was coming our way. Some of the scariest nights I've ever had. I have not had nights like that since Iraq. Because let's face it, we don't stand a chance. But I don't think that people on the other side really just want to come in and kill us. We don't want another Ruby Ridge or another Waco. I want to go home to my family. They want to go home to theirs. But we need to bring more light to this situation. We don't need to rush the process. We're not looking at this as an occupation. No, we've started a restoration process here. We are restoring these lands. We're looking up who the rightful owners are, when they had their grazing rights and everything taken away from them, from the federal government. So again, I'm asking people, please get educated on the Constitution. Know that we are standing our ground. Know that we do not want this. We do not want violence or war. We're not threatening anybody. We all have families, and we want to go home to them.
Stop fighting with each other.
We need to stop fighting with each other. This inter-bickering, you're losing friends, people. People that you thought that maybe you've met at some other patriot rallies. You're buying into false propaganda that's being pushed out there. Some of it may be true. Maybe there is a felon here. Do we let he who's out there without sin cast the first stone? I will say that yes, Blaine Cooper may have an ugly past, but that man stood by my side when we thought that there was certain death headed our way, and he did not tuck tail, because even if death was going to come our way, at least we endured till the end, knowing that we were right. And even if we did die, as long as those cameras are rolling and that First Amendment is right there as well, that it would direct our country in the right direction. God forbid that happen to us. We don't want to die, but we're willing to take a stand, and we are willing to lay our lives down as long as our country goes in that proper direction. The very last sentence of the Declaration of Independence should give a better understanding as to the people that are here, risking it all. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. A lot of people here are losing work. They're not able to go home and provide for their families. I am one of them. But I'm making that pledge to these men to know that as long as the greater good for America comes from all of this, what's mine is yours. I will make that pledge with you, and I will stand with you. This is not about me. This is not about anyone profiting. This is for our families. This is for our future. What kind of future do we want to leave for our children? Our founding fathers wanted to leave a good future for us. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let them down. Thank you. Please join us here in Oregon.